Douglas County deputies made a traffic stop yesterday and stopped a DoorDash driver from making a delivery.
First Alert 6 reporter John Chapman tells us the driver shouldn't have even been in that position.
A DoorDash driver was making his way through an Omaha neighborhood, delivering an order to a customer. But the food delivery driver never made it to his destination. A Douglas County deputy pulled him over.
The food delivery person did run the stop sign, approximately 15 miles an hour.
Douglas County Deputy Joseph Martinek ran a criminal background check on the driver. That's standard procedure. He discovered the driver, Richard Boise, has a lifetime registration duration on the Nebraska Sex Offender Registry.
So I conducted a short interview with the person to see if this was a new vehicle, how long he'd been driving it. He stated he'd been driving it quite often. He's required by the Sex Offender Registry Act to register that vehicle within 3 days of having the vehicle or having access to the vehicle, and he did not do that.
Deputy Martinek tells us not registering the vehicle they're driving in time is a common sex offender violation. Boise told the deputy he was unaware of the law. DoorDash officials tell First Alert 6 Boise was account sharing, and that is a clear violation of their policies. The statement goes on to say DoorDash has zero tolerance for violations like this, and we immediately took action to deactivate the account. DoorDash says they have a robust identity verification system in place and continue working to crack down on account sharing to keep bad actors off the platform. The deputies didn't stop their work with the traffic stop.
I was assisting Deputy Martinek on the traffic stop, and based on my conversation with Deputy Martinek, I found out that they were he was DoorDashing, and I went up and saw there was food in the car that hadn't been delivered yet. So I got the address to where it was intended for and decided to take it there.
Deputy Anthony Encontro tells us the family did not expect a Douglas County deputy to make their DoorDash delivery.
He was surprised to see me. I ended up watching the Ring doorbell camera, and yeah, he definitely didn't expect the deputy to walk up.
So the family got his food without a sex offender knocking on their door. But the entire incident made Deputy Martinek think a bit about food delivery.
It's a little disturbing. I've used DoorDash myself from time to time when I've gone out with my wife and wanted food delivered for my kids, and this will definitely make me think twice if I ever actually use the service again.
In Omaha, I'm John Chapman, First Alert 6.
DoorDash officials tell us the overwhelming majority of deliveries on their platform, 99.9%, take place without any safety issues.